Can't mute it until you start.
Yeah, you can. Well, hey everybody, welcome to the Battle Pirates Roundtable. I'm Price is Wrong with Battle Vortex, and I'm on here with another fellow Arbiter. I got Extremes on here, and we're basically here to talk about Battle Pirates. We've got a bit of, how many people we got on here now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we got one more spot available. If you're watching the YouTube stream right now and you want to be able to get on, I did put the Hangout link underneath the video, and if you don't see it there, then you might need to refresh. It's also posted on the event. It's posted inside the event, so if you hadn't accepted the event on our group page, which is this address right here, you probably didn't see that either. So anyway, it's 2 different places, and so yeah, jump on in. I guess I know there's a few things going on in Battle Pirates right now. We got Forsaken missions. It's the grind is still there, so it's real. Then there's the time limited campaign called Let It Burn is currently on, and also we have the Forsaken Arena tournament in progress. So I don't know if there's anybody on that wants to talk about any of those 3 topics. Should I just start on one side and work my way down, or what?
Start where you want, Jeff.
All right. Well, White Star, I'll start with you, man. What you want to talk about?
Well, thanks. Well, might as well start with the fat then and get it out of the way, haven't we? What does everybody think about the fat?
I still think it sucks, me personally, but
they could have done better.
Yeah.
You know, back when we had the uranium insurance, we did get 25% back off of our health. You know, if we didn't get the insurance, but now we don't.
I've only done one battle because it was free.
Yeah.
That's
You're
about
lucky
it.
you didn't get banned for your free battle.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Crazy Larry Jr. just said that in the chat, too. Don't forget about the false ban hammer. Apparently, there was an issue this week where if you built something using tech from the toy box that was not tech that you actually owned, it triggered, I guess they forgot to flip a switch and make it so that you were allowed to build something that you weren't supposed to have. And you got banned for it. So I know a lot of people got that. They had to do a mass unban.
Yeah, thankfully I didn't start right away, so it's probably why I was lucky enough to miss out on that wonderful event.
I heard that the piece of tech that was causing that was the Aegis.
Again, I must have been very lucky because I actually had that. I was using that ship, and I don't even have it.
Well, I was using the Phantom Nighthawk, and I don't even have any.
I've been using the Hellblazer and I don't have the Hellblazer, so I wasn't banned, so I don't know. Weird.
It seems like it was bipolar.
I think it's the Aegis in particular. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was just going to say I just used the default Nighthawks is all I used, and I just figured for me personally I had no intention of spending 10,000 uranium or 30 gold on an additional fleet slot, and so I just figured even though the subs have a 300% repair modifier, it's also quite possibly it's also the most likely fleet where you might be able to earn a victory with 0 damage. So.
Could you use Cat 3 on them, by the way?
I didn't even try. I just took the default loadout, and I didn't even dig into it at all.
I think it was removed. Cat 3.
Yeah, that's
why
why
it's not even available.
Exactly. There's a lot of things that's not available in this one.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yes.
But it's not like Cat 3 is really going to matter much because everything nowadays is thermal. The Aegis has thermal, the Frostburn has thermal. So,
but the cat drive does help, especially in sub versus sub. If they, for all intents and purposes, with S armor and cat drive, you basically have to run over a sub with another sub, unless you have sonar on it, sonar pod or something, to be able to detect it. So it still has its value. Not as valuable because of thermal, granted, but
I actually got rid of the armor, the S armor, from the loadout. I was like, why waste another 2 hours trying to repair it? Just take off the armor, save a couple hours.
Isn't everything supposed to be max retrofit, though?
No.
Everything's not. But and as far as that logic, I mean, I guess I can see that. But the thing is, if you're actually able to take advantage of the stealth, I mean, I know a lot of stuff's got thermal, but not everything's got thermal, and sometimes it is the sonar that will pick you up, and not the thermal. So I mean, I'm just saying, I'm not going to adopt that school of thought that the D2S was pointless, useless, and all it did was serve to increase your repair times. Because I actually did win one battle that I took damage on, and yeah. So I don't know that I would adopt that, but I mean, I guess that's to each their own. You know, I mean, if that's the school of thought you care to adopt, then that's cool. But that's not what I did.
I've got a question for you. Sorry, go on.
No, you go what?
Do you think they're taking a fat? Like Doom Rooster said, what was it, a couple of shows ago, they made this box thing so everybody can participate on an even playing field. But now with them changed it to 20k uranium to buy another fleet or 30 coins, and that increases. What about the players that don't coin? How do
That's
they
going to limit
play?
them.
Or just don't have the uranium to spend.
Exactly.
They're alienating more and more people, right? And not to mention that, but it's like, who determines what's exactly fair? Is because a person that coins a lot might not think that it's fair that he has to play on an even playing field as non-coiners. You know what I mean? Because he pays for an advantage, and the other people don't pay for an advantage. So why should they be even? You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, there's a couple of different ways you can look at what is considered fair, is all I'm saying. I'm not arguing like pro-coiner or pro-non-coiner. I'm just trying to say that there's a couple of ways to look at it.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is them people that can't get the uranium, that can't do dredges, so they can't afford the 20k. So the only other way is to pay 30 coins. Now if they don't coin, that means they can't participate.
And don't forget, people nowadays can prep dredges easily. So it's not that hard to get 30k or 10k.
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
People can prep dredges.
People is like just like anybody.
Well, not everyone, but
I'd say I'd argue that point because you still need to have the right tech and have a good portion of it retrofitted to the right level to even be able to do that effectively.
Yes.
Assuming you don't have the Arbalisk. That alone is an entirely different argument.
yeah, the Arbalist is. Let's just not even bring it up.
Yeah, I'm going to say I still have a hard time with dredges. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to say that I don't want to be like condescending or anything like that, but I'm just trying to say that, I mean, you definitely talked a good game, Joel, and so far that's like twice already that I'm like, dang, man, you must be like Superman, because I just kind of feel like you're diminishing what is required to play this game. You know what I mean? I mean, things aren't quite as easy as some people like to make them sound, and I know you don't really coin, but
I think what Joel was saying, though, the people who can't normally get the uranium can easily have somebody else prep a dredge for them. I think that's what he was getting at.
that's not the same thing, then, is it?
No.
Yeah.
Well, however you look
Depending on
at
other
it,
players, but go ahead.
since dredges have been released, it has become slightly easier with the available tech. However, with that said, you still need to have the tech to begin with, but,
And build it.
yeah, but there's not as much guessing as there used to be on how to actually do it effectively.
I just figured out where Joel's coming from. He's got assault torpedo Nighthawks now.
Yeah.
That's why.
There it is.
There it is. He's not using the Predator subs this month. So.
But yeah, no.
Okay, I've got one for all you guys. I haven't played the Forsaken Arena tournament, but I have opened the token window in my Battle Pirates, and I'm sure I've read that there are tokens that you can get in the Forsaken Arena. Am I correct there?
Yes.
And if I am, how do you get them?
You gotta win.
Yeah, and they're tournament-only tokens if it's the ones I'm thinking about, like the ship repair ones.
Tournament token ship repair.
Yeah, they're tournament-specific. So if you don't use them by the end of the tournament, do you lose them, or can you stockpile until the next one?
I've got no idea. Like I said, I've not played it, and I just saw it when I opened the tokens was when I did the Forsaken mission, and I saw that there was an extra spot there which said the arena tokens, and I was just wondering whether you get them in the arena only, or do you have to do
No, it's the
something
arena
else or
only.
whatnot? Oh,
It's the
okay.
arena only toxic.
I got a question though. Is there any reason why you'd want to stockpile tokens, tournament only repair tokens? Is there a reason why you wouldn't want to go ahead and just use them?
Yeah,
You-
fair point.
You can't stockpile them.
Yeah, you can only hold 6, I think.
And I think you
So-
can only win 5, right?
Yeah, hold 5, win 6. So
Mm.
yeah,
They don't hold over until the next tournament either. You lose them at the end of the
yeah.
tournament.
So it's better just to use them.
Okay.
So you can win them and then lose them again, or use them and then win them again, or is it only once?
No, only once.
Only once. Okay. Thank you.
No problem. So, what does everybody think about the new ship in the Forsaken Arena tournament?
It's
I think
Under-
you have to go on vacation.
Which version of the ship is the first question?
yeah.
Yeah, the original Artemis was a ballistic hull, right? And it
Yep.
only had like 4 weapon slots, and then they changed it. Now it's got like 8 weapon slots, and it's a missile hull. It's actually rivals a V2H pretty well. It is a little bit quicker. It has higher armor potential than the V2H, and I know I was planning on trying to have a slide together, but I failed miserably. So.
I think it can be also paired with the Valkyrie, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken, because they have the same combat speed.
Honestly, it looks like they just took the same ship and renamed it. Maybe changed a couple
Yeah.
stats.
I'm not too keen on it personally, even with the new stats. But to tell you the truth, I can't believe Kickstarter's done that, because on Thursday night somebody actually coined that ship and put ballistics on it and made a video. Now, them that have built it already, are they going to compensate them the gold back so they can change it to a missile fleet instead of ballistics? What gives them the right to change that fleet halfway through?
Well, they reserve that right. I mean, quite honestly, they reserve that right to make any
it is
changes
their
they deem necessary.
It is in the TOS. It is still a dick move on their part.
It is. I agree with that 100%.
It's not right.
No, there's nothing right about it, but the unfortunate reality is it is in the terms of service that they reserve the right to change any and everything whenever the hell they feel like it. It's
We have a
completely unfair towards the player, and it's not right, but they do it anyways.
You have a valid question about compensation. If they won the old version of the blueprint and coined it, then yes, I would say they have a reasonable argument to go back to tech support, who will probably compensate them, because coining that boat by itself would probably be, what, $50, $75 US?
Give or take.
Yeah,
Give
so
or
I would
take.
think,
Depends what you put
I
on
would
it,
think,
doesn't
Are
yeah,
you
I would
talking
think
with or without armor?
with.
Okay.
Vlad has the Artemis already.
Yeah, I just pulled. No, I don't have it. I just pulled it up on a screen share, and here's what they're showing now: the 8 weapon slots, 4 armor,
Yeah.
4 special,
Thermal.
sonar and thermal, combat. Their mass speed's 35, combat 16, turn 25, and there's your defensive buffs and the attack buffs.
There was a massive buff too on the. If you look at the concussive damage of the mines all the way at the bottom.
They increased it by 1,000, I think it was.
I think it was like 5,000. 5,712 concussive. It did say what, 2?
Oh, well, last time it was 4,200 around there.
But the old blueprint said 2. And this one says 5,712. I know there was like 4,000 was supposed to be like the explosive from the mines, but on here it just said 2, and now it says 5,712.
But they still move very, very slow. They're supposed to be sub killers, but nah, I don't think so.
Yeah, the way they move.
I
No.
know.
Like, yeah, if you're kiting something, like part of a dredge or something. But no, it won't be an efficient sub-killer fleet. It has very niche
It's a very niche market, I think. But it might pair well with Valkyries, but I haven't built any Valkyries anyway, so I'm not going to be bothering.
I look at it this way, as somebody who's not a big fan of the way the new fats are set up, I'm glad they keep coming out with boats that I don't like for it either. You know, that way I don't really have to worry about it.
I quite agree.
Yep. The only one I wanted was the Aegis.
Yeah, it's a real crapshoot. One fat they released something like the Aegis, which is an absolute game changer.
Yeah.
Well, that's another one too. They modified after they introduced it too, right?
Yep.
Was the Aegis hull? They did dramatic changes on that one as well.
If I'm not mistaken, those. Go ahead, Price. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I was just saying they made dramatic changes on that one as well when it first came out, and it, because I know there was like just lackluster feedback on the hull originally, and so they modified it.
Yeah, well, isn't it like a battle cruiser at first point?
Yeah, I don't remember. What were you saying? Dirty Harry? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you go, Price.
Dirty Harry. Hey, next, let's pass the baton, okay? But Dirty Harry, weren't you saying something?
I was just talking. I was going to throw out that I think that they made the changes to the Aegis before they actually started the tournament. This one they changed after the tournament started.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think about that? I mean, it makes you wonder how much testing and review they actually give their products before they release them to the public. I mean, it was definitely cool, I guess, that they recognized that it was substandard. I mean, it's better late than never, right, that it was substandard. But, I mean, you know, I don't know. I mean, the whole, what they introduced to the community to motivate people to want to participate in the Forsaken Arena tournament end up, you know, obviously it changed after the tournament started, so I don't know how many people already had made their mind up or whatnot, but, I mean, do you think that's kind of speaks to, it's like standard operating procedure over there, or what?
I think it does. I think they changed it on purpose, so I think they thought, hey, this is a bit below par, nobody's going to be playing it, so let's give it some decent stats and get more people coining. And get more people participating in playing so they can make money. That's what I think anyway, so...
Well, admittedly, there was some upheaval on the development team this week, but the old Artemis, you were very charitable when you gave it a thumb across. It was an awful hull. It wasn't worth chasing at all. And now, frankly, the first I didn't realize they had changed it. The first I saw the change was just now. That's why I went to go look at it, and I have to evaluate whether or not it's worth chasing.
Yeah, I mean, they made big changes on it. I mean, like I said, it rivals a V2H now, and I mean, it's got more combat speed and more armor potential than a V2H. Granted, it doesn't have like the unreactive or anything like that, but it's you know, the fact that it drops mines, I mean, that's like just a free weapon that you don't even have to put on there. It's just like an automatic weapon that, I guess it's not automatic because you got to replace those mines as they come out. But I'm just saying it doesn't take up any weight or anything.
Well, and the other thing that it has the thermal of 78 instead of 68. So there's no way to ninja it with assault torpedoes.
Nope. Slowly taking subs out of the game, out of the... I'm sure Doom Rooster said 3 or 4 months ago that some loving were going to come towards subs, but where is it?
Yeah, where's our new torpedoes?
Well, given past patterns that Kixeye's given us, they're going to sit there and give us all these sub-killer tools, which seems like they're doing right now with what you guys have just said with these missile ship and thermal not being able to outrange with subs, and then they come out with some super special weapon, new ship, hull, whatever, in the next couple months. I'll bet you anything will be for the subs. To sit there and counteract everything that they've given us to kill subs.
An anti-thermal.
Yeah, anti-thermal, in my opinion, is a little overdue.
A Kraken. I'll take one of them.
Well,
I'd love me a ship that can do a chamois warp hull ability.
if they're going to give us anti-thermal as a special, they're going to have to add retro to these subs and open up another spot. Because right now, with the only 2 or 3 special spots, what are you going to give up to add in an anti-thermal special?
Well, you
So
kind
they-
of don't have to do it because you can just put Magnus. Like if you have S armor, you can just put Magnus on it. Yeah,
But
it will reduce it, but then you can put that on.
Magnus is awful, and the reason that Magnus is awful is because when you retro the engine systems, it doesn't retro the cloak portion of Magnus.
Let me tell
So
you, it makes a huge difference.
It really does for as far as your cloak percentage.
Like for me, the difference is being able to prep out the torp towers in a 65 and not being able to prep them out, or just avoid being seen altogether, let alone shooting them.
Well, my stealth system is retro to R13. I'm running almost 92% cloak efficiency on my Nighthawks. With Magnus, the best I could get would be in the vicinity of 70%.
Extreme, you're still hitting 65s?
No, I was saying that was the last time I hit a 65 with a Magnus drive. I was just pointing out the difference for me with that was with the Magnus drive, I couldn't even sit there and avoid the torp towers with subs. Using a cat drive, I could sit there and more or less get right up on top of them. They still wouldn't even know I was there.
Yeah.
That's the difference I was pointing out.
My train of thinking about this whole fat thing and the halls that they have and for all the events in the halls that they have is that I don't mind that they don't bring out overpowered halls and overpowered weapons, because it's just one more thing that we have to try to get by. We have to refit, and our bases are getting smashed, or we can't break any bases. Right now, there's very few people that are breaking bases if you have your fleet set up with and refitted with the new launcher. So everyone's saying, "Oh, hit my base, hit my base, hit my base. Come on, come on." But this Artemis came out. I can care less about the hall, but I'm doing the arena for free. Ranked 13th, doing it for free, just having fun playing the game, and But that's what it comes down to, is that I don't. If it was an overpowered hall, we would be complaining that the hall is overpowered and that only a few people are going to get it, and you have to do the arena. But none of us have to do the arena. So
Yeah, definitely nobody here is complaining about it being overpowered. I mean, there's enough overpowered crap in the game. We're just trying to say that is it an overpowered hole, and I don't think anybody here thinks that it is, and I don't think anybody here has a problem with that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm glad they're not releasing an overpowered whole weapon special, whatever, this time. I think they do it way too often in too many forms. Like I think I mentioned this on the Thursday night show with the Forsaken mission.
Yeah.
Points are way too high. The prizes, what they're offering, like that uber charge, destroy everything in your path with the nuclear launcher thing, shouldn't even be in there. That's more like a raid prize and a mission prize. And completely defeats the purpose of what the mission was designed to do in the first place. Help the newer players come in and catch up, and those who are behind catch up. Instead, you give them an impossible task to sit there and do unless you're already at the end game portion with all the tech and stuff.
Well, even if you got all the tech, to do 115 million is not an easy feat. If you have to do the Forsaken mission, and you have to do the dredges, and you have to do the Let It Burn campaign, and then if you want to hit a base, well,
no chance.
It's just too bad you can't.
Wow.
You need
Especially
to
when you got.
why 150 million? I thought it was just 100 million. You're doing the twice.
If
Why
you're
100
doing
million?
it twice, it increases.
115.
It's 65 million the second time around.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a lot more.
But I don't even know if I'm going to go for the 50 million this time. I mean, I know with the Forsaken missions, I did a grind last week, and I had 2 prizes to get, and I'm not trying to say I want more content or anything like that, but quite honestly, I just I like determine, I think the decision should be on me as to what I find fun, and I don't know, I'm definitely feeling like, Kixeye with Battle Pirates is mandating what we should be doing, you know what I mean, and not letting us decide what we want to do, you know what I mean, and I'm definitely anti this whole grind Forsaken mission every week. I'm way against that, and
go ahead and use the word. It's just another huge chore. And they said they wanted to eliminate chores from the game, and instead of eliminating a chore, they added, or they
They
They doubled
quadrupled
down
it
and
more.
in a big way.
Well, worse than another chore, it's more like we now have a weekly raid. I mean, in a game that's asking them to slow down on raids and maybe do them every other month, they're like, basically they said, fuck you, here's once a week.
Well, and we got like 2 going on this week, right? Because we got the Forsaken Arena tournament, and now we got Forsaken Mission, and then of course we have the time limited campaign, the Let It Burn campaign this weekend. So, if you actually, and granted you can't use any of your own fleets in the Forsaken Arena tournament, which is a plus, is because, trying to manage your fleets and your repairs and your time to complete both the Let It Burn and the Forsaken missions, if the weekend is all you have. Good luck. That's all I can say.
Exactly.
If you're a collector like me, for me the cycle's already been broken. I'm not really interested. I'm not trying to be a collector anymore because they just keep coming out with way too much crap that they're not making accessible. It's just not like a realistic possibility of people gaining a lot of the tech that's coming out. And there's just so much of it. How many boats do you need? New boats you got to have come out every month. It's insane.
All that being said, I do enjoy the 85s. I reckon I don't know. I really have fun doing them, and if the repair times were a little bit lower, I would do several of them because, like I said, I really enjoy them. I think they're a challenge, and I'm really having fun. But I can do 1, maybe 2, and that's it.
I don't think it's the 85s that's the problem, Toxic. I think it's the points, 50 million and 65 million to get it. That's the problem, and not having the solid time reset as well.
Yeah, I have no problem having to hit a harder target. The targets are getting boring, and people are starting to auto them with no damage, so it's time for a change. But again, as White Star just said, it's back to the amount of points and time we have to do it, and the fact that it still takes you a day, maybe a day and a half if you're really unlucky to sit there and repair all the fleets that you're going to need to sit there and hit the targets.
Yeah. It's like when you've got this Let It Burn to do, you've got the Forsaken Arena tournament to do, so why couldn't they this time let you do the 50 million points, then you do the Arena tournament, Let It Burn, then come round to Monday, reset it and start afresh on the Forsaken missions again? Oh no, can't do that, that's kickside for you.
Yeah, I'll admit that really burned me up. That they didn't make any changes whatsoever, and not only that, but the conversation that I had with Doom Rooster, it actually sounds like and some other people at Kicksai. I know the other people don't actually work there anymore, but it just sounds like the whole idea of trying to future-proof the event and not making it. It's like, well, it might be tough now. But in 3 or 4 months, more people will be able to do it with no problem. And I'm like, well, what about between now and then? With the Forsaken Mission, right? Didn't you say that earlier, White Star, that it was basically when it was first introduced to the game, it was basically intended to be a way of making more tech available to people just getting involved in the game, and it's turned into more than that. That's not what it is anymore. The mentality over there at Kicksai has just changed, and people have definitely they're coming up with their own reasons why we do things, and the ones that don't listen, we kind of said the word arrogant several times on the Thursday night show, and basically when they think they know what we want to do better than we do, it's arrogant. You can't call it anything what it is. And then when you tell them straight to their face, and they don't really listen, they're just like, yeah, we know better, whatever.
They've got no in between there to stop it, so that's why it goes with one ear and out the other.
Yeah, and me personally, I'm done trying to explain it to them. I feel that way. I'm just very frustrated now. Maybe after I took a couple of weeks off, maybe I'll try talking to them again. But for right now, I definitely, there's nobody at Kicksai I particularly care to talk to.
Well,
now if they reached out to me and said, hey, I want to hear what you have to say, that'd be one thing. But I'm not going to go chasing them down right now. I'm just not in the mood for that to be talking to walls.
I went onto Kickside forum today to have a look how many complained about the shit being crap before they changed it. Yeah, and I counted how many posts in a thread there was, and it was 7 posts that said the hull was absolutely crap before Doom Rooster came out with saying, we've listened to you, we've heard you, we're now going to change it. Now you look at the Forsaken Missions one, 91 pages of people saying it's atrocious, this and other, and they're not doing anything about it. How does that work out?
It's kind of like how the FAT.
They're making money off of it. That's why White Star.
Well, yeah, but when the FAT moved it, we thought we'll give it a chance. But since they're just said flat out no repair insurance, a lot of people just gave up on it.
91. You said 91 pages, but how many of those are the same people over and over again? I mean, if it's just 5 people filling up 91 pages, I mean, is it a good thread? I haven't seen it, so I'm just curious if it's just a few people.
There's a pretty good variety of people.
Yeah, there was.
I spent on the event that we had last month. I spent 20 crowns and I got 50 million. This past Forsaken mission, I got 50 million. Did the tier, the elite tier, and I spent 30 coins. Did I say $20? Well, anyways, 20 coins on the event, 30 coins on the Forsaken mission. So I spent more on the Forsaken mission than I did on the event.
And when you're looking at it, we don't get halftime repair during the Forsaken missions, and it's basically like another raid.
Well, and the funniest part too is for 50 million in a raid, you can get the top 2 prizes and more than likely the limited hull if they have it. And in the Forsaken mission, you get what, a crappy piece of armor for 50 million? It doesn't make sense.
And in one of the threads, Doom said they actually considered adding the token to the random draw. Can you imagine how upset you'd be after you spent all those coins?
Yeah.
And then instead of getting the tech that you want or that you need because they've made it mandatory to get the tech, you end up with that build token, and if you come to find out that you saved yourself 96 coins, but it cost me 93 coins to get it. And all that time.
Yeah, that'd burn me up.
That's why this is the first week I have not done the FM in I can't remember how long, because it would cost me more in coin than just to coin the 2 days of build time. Now, granted, let me rephrase that. It would either cost me more in coin to coin it, or cost me so much in time that I'm sorry, Price, but I'm not going to do 14 hours, dude. I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah, that was a one-time thing. I'm not doing. I look back and I'm like, golly, what the heck was I thinking?
Well, but that was a brilliant baseline for anybody that wants to say, okay, can I do this cheap or coin free? Well, Price did it, but it took him 14 hours. So that's the value of your coin.
Actually, a lot more, because he also spent the first 2 days doing, he was hitting some stuff. So it wasn't 14 hours. It was at least 16.
I did an 85 on Wednesday. I did one on Thursday, and then I did the 14 hours starting on Friday through Saturday. So yeah, it was closer to 16 hours.
Which is just it's insanity.
I didn't even do the second half.
Time?
I didn't even do the second half last week. I got the 50. I got the one prize, the one I was chasing. And I said the next week's another week. I'm going to want to do 50 million next week just for the uranium. So I might as well have that prize sitting at the end. There's no point in doing the 65 million the second time through.
Well, as somebody who's done the 115 2 weeks in a row, let me tell you, by the end of it this week, I was about ready to shoot myself in the head.
Yeah, it's just...
Did you get the token twice then for doing it?
Yeah, I got the token twice for doing it.
Okay. As I heard some people won't get in it twice.
They might not have spent it maybe before they did it the second time, because you can only have one, so if you haven't spent it and you get your 65 and go to get another one, you won't get it because you don't have room for it.
Yeah, that's
The only
That
reason I
sucks,
bothered,
doesn't it?
the only reason I bothered to go to the 50 million this time, do it one round, is for the uranium. That was it. And really, after that's when I started thinking about how much coin it's going to cost me. I thought yeah, I could have done dredges, and of course we have the U campaign going on right now, so there's not even a point to. There's not even a reason to do it for uranium.
I mean, White made a video how to hit the, or made a video how to hit the 85s. But me not having, I've got the same fleet as what he has, but mine aren't ranked as high. So my coinage almost goes up by half. So if I was to do it exactly the same way with exactly the same fleet, where it costs 9 coins for White, it cost me 14 to 15. And sometimes a little bit more, depending, how reckless I drive, because I'm a bit impatient sometimes.
Mm.
So if you don't have the rank, it's it straight away goes into your hand in the pocket.
If you've got Reaper's Toxic, you can cut that down now to half, to about 5 or 6 coins.
Yeah, my Reapers aren't at 10 yet, so
Okay.
I've still got. I'm finishing 9 now, so I have to do 10 after that.
I think the bottom line is, looking at it from a high level, the new FM is an improvement from the perspective of giving them a platform to distribute raid level or raid quality prizes. So if you want a raid quality prize that they're offering, you have a period of time, a month or whatever, to go get it. And meaning obviously tier 4. The biggest drawback. Go ahead.
I'll say I wouldn't even call that an improvement, though. The Forsaken mission is not designed, was not originally intended to sit there and give out raid level prizes. It was intended to sit there and allow, as I keep saying, my personal opinion, new players and those in the, I guess, mid-range players who still need to catch up and get tech to catch up.
At the lower levels, yes, but the higher level players and the coiners don't really have much reason to do it. So most of the coiners
we were never
with all the
supposed to
ships-
have much reason to do it. It was
Yeah, they
supposed to be for the mid-level players.
Yeah, the high-level players, they don't need, in my opinion, a reason to sit there and do the Forsaken mission. They already have the tech. They already can get uranium and in much greater quantities through other means.
I got a question though. Now, as far as the raid level tech that comes out in the elite tier, we had the D5R and what was the other one? The
Fusion Charger, which
Fusion
in my
Charger.
opinion has broken the game, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Well, I mean, would you guys? I mean, if this was raid quality content, shouldn't it be introduced in a raid first?
Yes.
You know what I mean? So does this mean we're no longer going to get, like the mid-grade content? I guess is what you'd call it from our old tier 4 stuff. Are they going to quit producing that content?
I guess so.
And
I can almost guarantee you they're not going to. The bottom line of everything, you always have to roll it back to coin. If they could put out content that is valuable to the higher level players at tier 4 in the Forsaken mission, the higher level players or the coiners, let's just call us what we are going to go get it. We're going to go get it, period. And then they're going to release more, and they're going to put that in the regular raid. And we're going to go get that too. And that's just how the game
So you
works
feel like
for
they're
the coiners.
preying on you guys at all? They're Dirty Harry. Do you feel like you guys are prey and?
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
they're taking on that competitive. They're definitely got their crosshairs on your competitive nature, right? Where basically you'll do what you need to do to get any advantages they're going to put out there, make available. Because, I mean, quite honestly, if you're, it's not really a good competition if your competitor has the advantage and you don't.
Right, and that's the bottom line. And I talked before, I don't remember if it was the last roundtable or not, but about the separation between the haves and the have-nots.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a tier of players out there that have everything and have monster fleets, all ranked up massively. And you compare that to someone who is coining, like Price's ceiling there. He was talking about, he tried to go with $100 a month $100 US a month, or a mid-level coiner, there's absolutely no comparison. It's the gap between the tech that the heavy coiners have and even the moderate coiners is just unbelievable. And I shouldn't say the tech. The gap between the fleets, the strategies, and the ability to play wallet wars, to coin that phrase once again.
Well, and here's the big thing too. While the new setup of the FM does give you access to raid type material, is it worth having to pay 10 times the amount of points that you have to pay in a raid to get it? I mean, the Arbalest was what, 5.5 million if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And
in all fairness, the points
10 million or 50 million. I mean.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. The big difference there is 50 million points in a raid is completely different from 50 million points in the FM. I can get 50 million points in a raid for a small amount of coin, and I have 4 days to do it. It's a different kind of target, variable targets to hit. In the Forsaken mission, you have one target to hit. I mean, most of the players now are high enough level that they're spawning 85s. So, once again, going back to Price's stream, he was trying to do 65s and couldn't hardly find them. So you have one target to hit, and it's much easier. Let's put it this way: it's much cheaper to do 50 million points in the Forsaken mission. For the average player.
I totally disagree with that. I
kind of disagree with that too.
Okay.
It was way cheaper for me to get 5.5 million in the raid where the Arbalest was than it is for me to get 50 million in the Forsaken mission.
The elite in the last event wasn't that tough, and you got what, almost 4 million points.
It was doable last raid.
And you could really prep it if you want, like really be careful and prep it. So 4 million and then 6 million for an 85. So it was a lot easier for me, I thought, but maybe it's just the fleets that I was using or the fleets that I have.
Well, it's the same thing. If you prep out an 85, you're going to get 6 million and take probably less damage than you would have taken on an elite in the last raid.
But in the elite, you get halftime repair.
That's a valid point. Now, that's a valid point that I had not thought of.
Yeah.
And here's another thing. You've got in the raid, you had elite targets, and you had the siege campaign, and you had 65 water targets, and you had 40 water targets, and you could pick the target that fit the kind of fleet that you had. I did one elite, decided it wasn't efficient. I did one siege, decided it wasn't efficient, and I got to the 65s and found out that I could do it with enforcers for 30 minutes damage apiece. And I just ground 65s until they came out of my ears. I ended up with about 90 million points doing nothing but 65s. You don't have that choice right now in the weekly. You're stuck with doing 85s. And it doesn't matter what level you are because you can't find anything else to spawn because most of us are big enough to spawn 85s.
Right. One other difference that I'll point out is that the targets in the raids change every month. The targets for the Forsaken mission didn't change for, what, a year and a half or so, maybe 2 years. And these 85s will probably not change. They might be tweaked here and there, but my guess is once they get them stable or where they want them, they won't change again for years. So you can build a fleet or a group of fleets, especially as they release new tech. They will release stronger, bigger, better hulls, whatever, that will allow us to build fleets to do the FM either coin-free or like the old strategy was to use a lead spec or something like that. Some other strategy will come to play, and we'll all be farming 85s all day long for very little coin.
Well, you can't really use a Spectre, decoy,
That's
because
correct.
there's little to no sonar.
That's correct. In the 85s and 75s, that's absolutely correct. The 65s, they're still the same as they've been for the last year and a half.
Yeah, but the 65s became the new 27s, so you can pretty much never find them anymore because that's what everyone's hitting.
Right.
They grind on those.
Right. So at some point in the future, they will release, or I expect that they will release different hulls, different tech, different weapons that will allow us to do these things very, very cheap, or if not for free.
And that goes right back to the power creep issue of the game.
That's correct.
It's no longer power creep anymore. It's a power leap.
Somebody brought this up, I think it was in the last roundtable, that instead of having all of us spawn 85s, we should all be spawning 65s, and they can put the 75s and the 85s around the drac bases like they did the assault platforms in the raid. And that would take care of the spawning problem with the 65s. I can't claim that as original idea, but it sounds good to me.
I like it too. Sounds great.
Or why not do the 75s or 85s through the campaign tower?
Put them there too.
Or, like, put them around relay towers, because why not?
Yeah,
I like the campaign tower or right next to your base. So if you're using like Enforcer, or sometimes people use funny fleets to prep something out. It's right next to your base.
I use enforcers to prep the 85s.
Yeah.
You gotta love that 50% repair modifier along with the D98s.
Yep.
And just put war frets on it so that they go sailing.
I don't even bother. I just let them grind along.
I mean,
That is very
can I just
special
ask?
slots.
Can I just ask one question? Why don't you want the 85 spawning next to your base? What's wrong with that?
Nothing other than the fact that it takes all that. That's the reason we can't find the 65, is because everybody who you. But not everybody can do 85s. If you're a level 60 player, even if you're spawning a 65, there's somebody waiting outside to grab it as soon as it pops up. It's like everything else when they have the spawn set up. The targets that are left are the ones that are the harder ones, and which is the 85s.
Yeah, I mean, I was just wondering because for me, I mean, I'm not a heavy coiner, and I find it easier and it's cheaper for me to do 185 than it is to do 565s or 465s, or however many you have to do.
Well, me personally, I was doing 65s for free. I was knocking 565s out with no damage in less than an hour. So with my Crusader fleet and using a decoy. So I mean that was for me.
It all depends on your fleet.
Yeah, I suppose.
I mean, there are some people autoing for no damage using Kodiaks. If I really put the time in, I could do it for free with Reapers.
There's a guy in my alliance that used enforcers to auto 65s. I never saw it. I don't know how he did it, but he did, and he's really bummed he can't find a 65 now.
Hey, at the Good Season show on Netflix, I'd do that too.
I think we're all in agreement, and I hope Kix is watching this, but I just probably would like to ask everyone, like, do you think that the points should be cut down? And I think general consensus is they should. The target's not right, and I hope Kix is watching this. They could just tone down the points required.
Yeah. I mean, I think if they cut them in half, I think it would still be high, but it would be a lot more reasonable. Or reset the clock. I mean, geez, 72 hours for 115 million.
Yeah, be reasonable. Don't try to keep doing with this power creep, because you're controlling the power creep, Kixeye. You have say what to do.
I've never really understood the whole clock thing in the first place. It's like, just give me a week and let me do it in my time.
Because if they give you a week to do it in your time, you can sleep your repairs away. You don't have to coin them. That's the whole entire purpose behind the clock.
Conspiracy theories.
It sounds like a valid theory to me. I mean, it doesn't sound like aliens and spaceships or anything. I mean, why else would they do it? The 72 hours. It is a sleep about the whole sleeping your repairs away and pushing people to coin a little bit more. But I don't know. I know when those Strongholds first came out, because what was it we had before Strongholds? We had something else. But
I
the
think
constructing ones.
The hubs.
Yeah,
it
the
was the
hubs.
Yeah, and we were doing those for free, and then the Strongholds came out, and we all kind of complained about Strongholds then. But then I kind of just, I said, well, I'm not going to coin them, and I didn't. I did do just 34s for the longest time and autoed like just crazy amounts of 34s on the map until I learned how to do bigger targets. But the whole sub decoy thing and driving But I don't see any of these tactics. I don't see any way of even down the road of doing these 85s coin free. Yeah, even down the road. I mean, unless something like really good comes out, because the range on a lot of the turrets don't seem like they're very excessive.
I think it will happen, but it'll probably may take a year or two to do so, kind of like it did with the 65s, because the mission targets we have right now, remember, they used to be raid targets. And when those first came out, everyone said they were the hardest thing they'd ever seen, and we'll never be able to do them for free. Now you got people just autoing for free, or used to.
Well, that's the power creep.
So I think eventually it'll happen. It'll just be so far down along the road.
But we'll have in a year from now, we'll have like halls like the Hellstar with the 400% repair modify will be the norm. So
I really hope not.
400? No, it'll be 800 by then.
I don't know. I remember when I was looking to build a floating fortress for the first time. It was like 5 days. That's insane. I miss those days.
Well, the mission, this is only the second week for the mission, and there is 2 new prizes plus 1 token at the end. So I suppose it'll be another 2 weeks before they're going to be refreshed, and then we will need to see what kind of new special or weapon or whatever they're going to put in there, and see what they want to achieve with that Forsaken mission, for that weekly mission. Because if they start to throw hulls in there and stuff like that, which they're going to have to, needing 115 million, it's going to be, we're going to have to wait and see what they're actually going to do with that Forsaken mission and all these points that you have to get. I'm a bit worried about that.
Adding holes to the elite is a bad idea because it's already alienating a lot of people, and that would just be throwing what?
Everything Kickside does alienates a lot of people. Every single thing they do in this game alienates a group of people, no matter what they do. And a part of this is a statement about the way the community reacts to things. Part of it is just the way they run their game. But when everything they release, go out to the forums just for fun and check out the page after page after page of complaining about it. And then, a month, 2 months, 3 months later, when it's become the norm and people have had a chance to adjust their fleets, adjust their tactics, watch the videos of people doing them for free, then all that dies down and we move on.
Yeah. No, we just find something else to complain about.
Exactly.
I have to have an open beer next year till I go to those forums. It's the only way. I'm going to keep from getting depressed.
All right, so if you see anyone complaining, take a drink. You'll be drunk by the end of the day.
No, I'll be drunk by the end of the first sentence. Yeah.
Yeah,
I won't even get through one post.
I used to read the forums pretty aggressively, and I stopped. Now I go out and I read CM posts. The monthly work in progress post. I'll read that. I'll read the update to the various the FMs and the raid posts, the raid information posts. Outside of that, I just ignore everything else now. There's nothing of value in most of those threads.
Because most of the times they're wrong anyway.
yeah, they change it. They change it no matter what, and they nerf it, and so it's invalid. I mean,
Well, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think the point requirement for the tier level and the Forsaken mission was just an ill thought out knee-jerk reaction to how well the Crusader with Arbalist was performing. And I think they really screwed the pooch on this one.
Yeah, even with Arbalists, if you don't have the ICX or the Crusader, it is very, very hard. Because those two are the major holes that can have Arbalists. You gotta retro the SCX, but if you just don't even have the Arbalist, you can't really do it.
For those people that have the Arbalist, I've got a question, or I've got a rant or a complaint or whatever you want to call it. If you shoot the Arbalist at a ship that's sitting this way, it will miss, and you will need 8 to 10 shots to sink that ship. If the ship is turned that way, 1 salvo and it's sunk, and I don't understand that.
It's because it's a straight shot.
It's
Would it not be easier to hit the ship like that than it is like
No,
that?
because he'll be outrunning the shot.
the Arbalist is in the same category as mortars, rockets, and siege cannons in that it shoots where the target is at and doesn't actually track the target.
It's the
is why-
fastest firing. It's the fastest flying shot in the game.
Yeah, but if you have a very fast ship, say for Reavers, they're gonna move out of the way. That's why, most people nowadays have disruptor cannons on their Crusaders or
Frosty.
the Frostburn to slow them down.
And it's also why the Bullseye Brigade does not work with it, annoyingly enough.
Yeah, I knew that, but it's
Yeah.
just that I don't agree with that.
Toxic. The solution that I have on my Crusaders is I put the one disruptor cannon on each one. So as a ship is driving by me and I'm missing it with my Arbalist cannons, now I don't use the one you use, Price. I use the older one because it's lighter. But anyway, as soon as it gets into range and starts taking hits from that disruptor cannon, it slows down. The Arbalists start hitting and kill it. That was my solution to fixing that problem. But the first time I built them, the first raid after they came out, I didn't have those cannons on there, and I couldn't kill the Reaver Scout ships unless I was going straight at them. So when they started circling around me, I took a lot of damage. I ended up actually coining the refit because it was cheaper than sitting there getting my fleet sunk over and over again.
Yeah,
So
I might have to do
that's
that. Yeah. I mean, at the moment I'm building, again, especially for the Forsaken mission, I'm building Nash's lightning carriers with the new
Locust?
UAVs on it. The Locust UAV was that you've got one special slot free where you can put a speed system on, or a speed upgrade on, and you can then outrun the SCXs and the V2Hs and not get shot at. You don't need any armor on them at all, and they're very cheap to repair.
I've actually, with Hornets, and using my Nashes, I have a hard time outranging those the SCXs and the 85s. I'll prep out the B2s with my Nashes, and then I'll go back in with subs for the SCXs, subs with a gunboat to pull them out,
I've even used me antipodes on them SCXs in them 85s, and they're still hitting me, and I outrange them.
Like, sometimes I can actually shoot them with Arbalists, but that's only sometimes. It's even like the ranges change.
You guys act like the Dracs have ever fought fair.
Well, it's like saying, the Reavers are, too fast. There always are.
Well, and Kicksite uses cheater weapons too. An example would be that the torpedo towers, the range on those torpedoes is 115.
Oh, remember, when the Snowfall campaign, we were doing that for the raids? Remember when the torpedoes were outranging assault missiles?
Oh, these do. These outrange the D98s on an Enforcer.
The only thing I have not seen the Torp Towers in an 85 outrange is deluge missiles on Reapers.
Oh no, they outrange the deluge missiles, but the thermal is only 90, so you can shoot them without being seen.
Yeah.
If you surface, they'll get you because you're in range. They just can't see you to shoot.
I think someone brought this up last week in the roundtable. They just used like an instant repair ship to just to take the fire of the torp towers. And yeah, I thought that was a good idea. I didn't even think about it, and I just used it, and it actually saved me a lot of damage. But I always prep out the two north ones. The other ones I can do in the right angle where I don't get hit by the torp if you do it correctly. But using an instant fleet just to take some volleys.
Yeah, it certainly works.
Yep.
Well, I guess, were there any other topics that people felt like they needed to discuss? I mean, I know we kind of covered, I know we talked about the Forsaken mission, we talked about the Forsaken,
There you go.
What the hell?
there was too many icons bouncing. I think everybody was trying to jump on them at the same time. and it was like all my icons were like bouncing, and I couldn't hit the right button.
Sorry.
The topic I brought tonight was the D98s in combination with the Fusion Cruisers on base guards. They're averaging from the time the first D98 shoots to the time the base guard is dead is averaging under 5 seconds. I mean, how does anybody how has anybody had any experience other than instant death trying to attack these bases?
Well, I think the best option might be to use like an interceptor or Frosty, so that it does have the unreactive ability, so it can get rid of it faster, but it will still build up enough.
Like I said, the longest I've seen a fleet last is less than 10 seconds, and it's averaging under 5 seconds.
Sorry, Vlad, are you talking about on Enforcers? The D98s on Enforcers?
A D98 with the Fusion Charger on Enforcers and a base guard. As soon as you get in range, the attacking fleet's dead.
Yeah, I've never had. I haven't had anybody make it around my first turn. I mean, most of them barely get in the channel. I have 2 Enforcers on there. The second one's never fired.
Well, now you can bring back Reapers if you know how to use them, and if you build them right, so that they can prep those, the Enforcers out.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. You try it. If you set them far enough back, they're not going to reach.
Yeah. Because they actually outrange the deluge missiles now.
Yeah.
Yep. By 4, isn't it?
Base hitting right now is tough.
More than 4, 96 points, something for a deluge missile. So you're talking 6.
Isn't deluge 100? I thought it was
Deluge
100.
is 100 if you use
100?
SFB 3. If you're using Strike 3, it's only 96.
Yeah, I'm gonna say.
And in order to go ahead, Toxic.
But even with the if you do use the 100, isn't the with the charger, isn't that 104?
Yes.
Yeah.
103, 104, 103 point something.
Yeah, so you do outrange the deluge, yeah.
All right, guys. Well, if everybody's cool with it, I'm gonna go ahead and end the broadcast, man. This guy is trying to be persistent, and I just seem to go ahead and end it.
Yeah, it'd be best, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I do appreciate everybody, almost everybody, joining us on this show here today on the panel, and the folks on almost everybody on the YouTube chat. It's been a good show, I think, and I guess if you'd like to be on one of these, just you can check out our page right here, bp.battlevortex.tv. That's our group page. Feel free to join. We have an events tab all the way at the top, and usually for shows coming up, we have opportunities to get on panels like this. We'll be posted up there. Links will be shared, and we try to do these every Saturday. So, but almost every Saturday, except for event weekends. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and kill the broadcast, and I guess I'll be seeing y'all next Thursday or next weekend or whenever. So y'all take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.